The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Forum, assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversations about entertainment and geek culture. We on the Fantastic Forum coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, stick with us. We'll pick it up or not. The usual suspects in the building. First, he is a riddle inside of an enigma trapped in shiny finger cuffs. You don't know him. Love him anyway. He's our sunless master. Jay.
Hey.
Hey. Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the streak, the Fantastic Forum, our non-invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
What's up? I was gonna play Jay's video too, but I wasn't fast enough.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
And
Look, we need to
add music to it too.
Hey. Oh,
no, I need to.
Oh, you need to.
Yeah.
Look, we need to do that. We also need to just put that in the intro and replacing Bane, because that was Jay's whole thing. He's like, there's no shots of me outside the show. He's like, oh, we got a shot of you outside the show now, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I said. I said I haven't done anything. I haven't made a recording. That's what Mo did.
Oh, you've made a recording now, buddy.
No, Mo did.
Jay,
I have two of them. I have one with his doppelganger, and then one when he looks all badass when he's like finishing up with the anime girls and they're leaving him in their shameful walk.
Look, I'm working on learning Dead End, so I'm gonna put that in for my my part.
Like a serial killer euphemism? What's that mean?
What?
What's that
Dead
mean?
End?
Yeah.
It's the opening theme to Black Summoner.
Oh, I feel like you gotta add context. Otherwise, we're just like, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm sure somebody knew. It just wasn't me. I was just like, oh, Jay's working on killing folk. I'm like, damn, not my buddy, not my pal. I'd be like, I love him, but he's a cold-blooded killer. Shout out to Oz, who was here when the intro started, but is now gone. Our intrepid senior reporter. I don't know what happened. I'm assuming he'll be back. I don't know if he had to. I know there's a lot of like tumultuous weather happening in the Midwest. I hope he didn't like get instantly sucked up by a tornado or anything.
Look, that was happening in Montebello right here.
It did happen there was a random tornado in Montebello. Now,
and then Santa also, like two.
Yes.
It just wasn't as big as those Midwest tornadoes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Like, there's definitely a difference in scale. I don't want to minimize what's going on in the Midwest, because Lord knows there are people out there hurting.
You guys talking about the tornado I had yesterday?
Did you actually have a tornado?
Yeah, I thought that's what you guys were talking about. Yeah, lost power.
We're talking about the one that we had here in Montebello.
Oh, you ain't got no tornado. We got legit trailer parks trashed. I had a tree fall down. I can send you a picture.
I had a tree fall down here too.
There's a mailbox on our lawn, and we don't know whose it is.
We out here? We're out here comparing natural disasters. We're like, nah, man, it happened to us too. Now, look, everybody pull out your natural disaster, put it on the table.
Right. We start talking about earthquakes. I'll give you that one. But like nature events, like nah, dog, nah.
Jay, hold this ruler next to Oz's natural disaster real quick. Hold on. No, man. Like I was actually saying that I did mention the tornadoes in the Midwest just because you were here when the intro started. Then we came back, you were gone. And I was like, oh, Schmack, what happened to us? just saying I hope that didn't happen. But I didn't realize that you actually got hit by a tornado, or at least were in proximity of one recently. I wish you would have let us know that. You know what I'm saying? Like mark yourself as safe in the group chat or something. You know?
Yeah, you guys didn't know.
That's what I'm saying. But we want to know.
Why worry you? You guys weren't worried, right? Like you find out when I'm here and I'm fine, so you were never worried. I don't want to worry you. I'm thinking about you guys.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, man.
And while I'm thinking of you guys, I know that like a tornado, Jay has got to spin on up out of here. So let's let him wreck our reviews and wreck this book or whatever we're doing first, and let's get this show going.
Today we're going to be talking to you all about, we have reviews of Lackadaisy, the animated pilot based on the webcomic, and we are also going to be talking to you all about Isom #1, the first comic that's beginning the Rippaverse. So we got all that happening. Before we do all that, we're going to make sure we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not have existed. So thank you, Scott Rubin. We do appreciate you. Intern, do your thing, intern.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? It's okay. You can join the Discord chat link available.
Fantastic Forum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Remix. I like it. I like it.
Quick, Mjolnir makes a horrible bottle opener.
I believe that.
It's funny.
You need to get a Captain
twist offs anyway.
You need to get a Captain America shield. Captain America shields are great bottle openers.
I have a Predator mask.
I'd rather use my Cajun card. That was a horrible
Cajun card. Was that supposed to be Gambit? Oh my god!
It's an ace. It's a legitimate ace.
My Cajun card.
I've been using them on Snap, and he's been really good to me. And now we're derailing again. Back to the reviews.
Exactly. And so what we should do is get with Fantastic Forum. We will take your comments directly out of chat, bring them into the show. We don't have a witty chat comment, do we, Jay?
No.
That's weird. Especially because we got people listening.
They know not to waste their time with that shit right now.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go right into it. Let's go into some comic book reviews.
Woo! Comic book review. Comic book like review. Well, not like that, but like.
Indeed. All right. Let's start with Isom #1. Oz, you brought this to the table. Tell us about Isom #1, my friend.
Isom #1 is the first comic of a new independent comic company, the Rippaverse. And it came to my attention from a YouTuber who wrote it. And he spends a lot of time talking about what problems he sees with the industry these days. And I guess somebody said, well, why don't you make your own comic? And he did. And Isom #1 is the first of what he plans to make a whole universe.
Indeed. Young Ripper. I don't he has a number behind his name, but I know it's like Young Ripper, whatever, on YouTube. And he did a Kickstarter for this, and it made a whole bunch of money.
I think
like 3 million, I think.
Yeah, he said he was expecting to sell like maybe 20,000 books at the max, and sold like 60 off the bat. And so, yeah, he's a popular dude.
Yeah, so
59.
Is he one of those Comicsgate guys? Because I know he gets. Well, I know I got the perception that he was, but I didn't get that from reading his book.
He gets lumped in with that group because he is more conservative, and he does talk a lot about like tokenism in comics and things like that. So he gets lumped in with that crowd, and he does like hang out with Dixon and a couple of the comics. Like he has no problem talking to them.
He's definitely Comicsgate adjacent.
Yeah, 'cause that's kind of what I was explaining to Emily, where it's like I don't get that sense from him fully, like from at least not from the fandom, like what the fandom Comicsgate says, but I can see, like, I know, like, most Kickstarters have a digital copy and his doesn't, or I assume it didn't. And that's one of those things that, like, these Comicsgate people have a problem with, is they don't like digital distribution either. I think it's the maybe digital. No, never mind. We don't have time.
I'm not sure how he feels necessarily about digital. I don't think I've actually heard him say anything bad about it, other than because he does have he has talked about having his Marvel that app where you have the comics and stuff. But the only criticism I've ever heard is people that are criticizing him, or and he asks them, he tries to find out what they read, and based on sales and all that, he makes the assumption that a lot of people criticizing him don't really buy comics. Like, at most they might rip them online or something like that. So maybe that might have affected his decision to go digital.
There it is.
Or not to.
So, yeah. So, Oz, what is Isom #1 about?
Dude, I read this for a long time.
Look, Jay, you read it most recently, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk to us about what happens or what Isom is about?
Yeah, so this dude, he works on a farm out in the country, and his ex is like, you got to go check on Jasmine. And he's like, why the fuck should I do that? And the girl is like, Ma said to do it. And he's like, all right. So he goes into the city.
He did say
club.
For real, like 100% accurate so far.
I think I want Jay to write a book.
He goes and he asks after Jasmine, and the club owner is like, nah, she could do her own thing. And Isom's like, hey, I came here for a reason. And the club owner's like, well, now you're going to get your ass kicked. So the bouncer beats the shit out of him, throws him into a white woman. And the white woman is like, who the fuck are you? And slams him into a car. And then, from there, he's just pissed. And he doesn't give a fuck about Jasmine anymore. He just wants to go kick ass. And he gets his ass kicked again, but a little less this time. So he leaves and goes to go get a costume from this, one of those major costume dealers. And he finds his old costume, and he's like, this shit still fits. And then it goes into a side story about a heavy metal band that lyrics are real and they fight evil.
I think that's the intro to another book coming out.
Oh, okay. Wait, I was like, wait, what? I'm like, that's not Isom, right?
It's the backup. You didn't read the whole book?
Okay.
The thing is, can't really you can't really be like that about it, like not being a side story, because you got that whole thing that happened with that white woman that got slammed into. Shit,
I mean, I think what you're saying is that felt. Oh. What's happening?
Yeah, did I lose you guys?
I mean,
we're
you were there the whole time.
We're here. Where are you?
Yeah.
Wait,
were you playing audio?
On my end, you guys froze. No. I'm all right. Well, anyway, yeah, because that side story, that was a whole superhero fight with that white woman that he got slammed into, and we didn't know where that started or where it went. So it makes sense that metal band story would be a side story too. It might as well.
Where it was like it just felt kind of non sequitur,
Yeah,
because she sure did. She sure was like, oh, are you one of whatever's goons or whatever? He's like, hey, listen, I don't know what you talking about.
Yeah.
And it's cool because it's like, okay, like let's see where this goes. But
yeah,
it doesn't.
Well, I mean, and that's what I think about this book, where it's like now that you said Ripaverse, I was like, oh, okay, this is the intro book to the universe.
Yeah, that's
you know,
well, intro book to the universe.
Here's the thing. That's the only explanation. Otherwise, it's just a disjointed mess. Now it's just not that good of intro, and I'm not saying it's a bad comic. I'm not saying I don't like how the characters are all that much. But it's just, I mean, this is just as good as those the Kamala Khan segments in Dark Web. Like this is how that's how those feel.
Isom has leapt that high hurdle.
That's really how
better than the Dark Web Kamala Khan tie-in.
Oh, just as good. Like the Venom one and
just as good.
Yeah, because that's how, I mean, like especially when you're trying to, prove that you can do better than what you're critical of, then you hit the mark. Like you did at least just as good,
Interesting. So Jay, what were your impressions of the book?
It was pretty mediocre. Very tropey. Not much original going on. And real quick, Tiger Claw in chat says, I heard about this Isom comic. The creator was making an anti-woke comic. And it's like, how is it anti-woke? Like, it's got black people, it's got white people.
I don't think he necessarily was making it anti-woke. His biggest thing, well, it's not his biggest thing, but one of the things that he does talk about a lot is how canon is affected. Like how we've always said, Wolverine's got he's in 20 different books doing something totally different in each book. And it doesn't feel like a cohesive universe necessarily sometimes. So he talks a lot about canon and then changing your characters because of new writers writing them, things like that.
And I think because of the Comicsgate stuff, he gets lumped in with that anti-woke because that's really the loudest part of the Comicsgate argument. But a lot of them are like business practices and just execution of the medium.
And he does have criticisms like, and same thing we said. They don't know what to do with Tim Drake. They tried making him gay, didn't work. So people take stuff like that as, well, he's Comicsgate because he hates gays, and it's like, well, he just didn't want to see Tim Drake go that way.
And Tim Drake didn't. Tim Drake was bi.
Tomato.
Yeah, some people don't make a distinction. I know, right? But here's the thing, though. Like I will say, like Eric July, who is, the author and the personality that does the YouTube. He goes by Young Rippa on YouTube.
59.
I mean, I'm sorry, Young Rippa what?
59.
Yo, Young Rippa 59. I've watched some of his stuff, and he definitely has some what would be characterized as anti-woke comic views, and that is what inspired him, or part of what inspired him to write a book. The book itself is not anti-woke, but he definitely feels like, there's like when you replace legacy heroes with more diverse characters, that's something that he wasn't a fan of, you know what I mean? Or like, and like when you're introducing, like he's talked at length about the introduction of, what he might feel is like identity politics into comics. And basically it's kind of been like, hey, like comics were better when they weren't trying to push an agenda, even though, like, I mean, you could make an argument whether an agenda is being pushed or not, but that's those reviews that he definitely holds, or at least that I've heard him say on his channel. So, but that's, like I said, that was more so like him sharing those kind of views and people being like you mentioned earlier, why don't you make a book? That's where this comes from. But the book itself, yeah, I don't think of it like it's for all intents and purposes, it's relatively devoid of any kind of politics, or it just feels like it's just trying to be just a comic. And honestly, that might be a little bit to its detriment, because I know for me, I was reading it and I was just like, especially like given how much passion the dude has on his channel, I was like, gearing up for something. Like, I didn't think it was going to be a book that was going to be like all like, I didn't think it was going to be like what was the joint with the dude or the character that was basically punching, like, friggin' scalping terrorists or whatever. I don't remember that. But anyway,
the American Terror guy.
I didn't think it was going to be a book like that, where you're just like, oh my God, like this is just, somebody out here putting like their racist views into comic form. I didn't think it was going to be anything like that. But at the same time, I did think that it would have like, a perspective. And I don't know that this book has a perspective. It just kind of feels very middle of the road and bland to me, which I was like surprised by.
And that's my biggest criticism of it, because it's not even like entirely bad. I don't know if I would fund on Kickstarter and wait for it to come out, like for the next issue like that, like especially if there's no digital version of it.
By the way, we keep saying Kickstarter. I don't think it was actually Kickstarter. I think he was just pre-selling.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did he do it? Did he do it through like his own site, or
I think it's through his own site? And yeah, I think it was pre-selling.
Insane, because the book was relatively expensive,
it still feels like a crowdfunded thing the way it was done.
Yeah,
and that's why it's easy to mistake it as a Kickstarter.
Right. What do you remember what the book cost?
It should say on the cover. I think it was like $35, and that's my big. Plus, it was like another $6 for shipping, and really that's my biggest gripe. Since then, I have seen, like, he has talked about what the costs were for it, and it's it's the first book. I think they were working on it when that paper shortage thing was happening too. And so he was talking about all the costs. Expensive. And now that he's
more the reason
now that it's like a proven thing, I guess he's saying it. He can get better deals from wherever he got it from, and all that. So yeah, I don't like the price point. I hope to see that come down a little bit now that he's got that first one out. But other than that, I mean, the book was fine. As an introduction, it's fine. Biggest criticism I've heard about this book is, well, not the biggest, but one of the criticisms I've heard is there's no world-breaking event. And I can see that, especially at that price point. But it's an introduction to this new universe. And I mean, I'll pick up a couple other books, Isom 2, and one of the other ones that are going to come out, and check them out and see where this is going. I mean, it's a new company, and it's an interesting character that I wished this book would have told us more about. Like, I honestly don't even know what his powers are, other than he seems invulnerable and strong, and then that may be it.
That's the wildest thing I think about the book, where it's like, it does say that, like, it has its own terminology and whatnot for superpower people. They call them accepts, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And so it mentions that they exist, but it doesn't say anything about like, I don't remember it saying anything about like where they came from or if anybody had any theories or anything like that, which is okay. You don't need to tell the origins of where your heroes come from right off the bat. And the same thing, like, I'll give, like, I understood what Eric July was trying to do with Isom in that, he was definitely going for like, the strong silent type, silent protagonist kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like Isom is a man of few words. And so that I get. But usually when you have a character like that, you usually have like another character that can play off of that so that you kind of like the audience gets a little bit of like the information and world building that it needs in order to put this character in the context of its world. And Isom doesn't do that.
It's almost like he should have gone to woke ass Jonathan Hickman's Substack and done the world building.
But like
go ahead, Jeff. They do it, but they do it very disjointedly. They have like different characters will like talk about him.
Yeah.
And like you get all your information from other characters, like the daughter.
Basically berating
him. Yeah. Basically, yeah. All the info about him you get from other characters talking to other characters.
It's also it was a little bit, at least with me, it was a little bit jarring that there's that one page of an ad.
Yeah, very jarring.
like you're reading it and then you turn the page like, oh,
$35 for a fucking ad.
It was weird.
That's what happens when you can't do your page counts right.
Is that what happened, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's weird that like we don't know what anybody's like powers are. And it's not like you got to spell it out. Like I'm not saying you have to have like, mainstream comic kind of, like boxes with names of their powers listed under it or anything like that. Or that you need to have any kind.
Or do like an anime thing where they do their like twirl and announce their power. Like just fucking go with it. Get weird with it.
You can do that, but it's like this book doesn't. I feel like this book would feel weird with that in it.
It takes itself too serious,
and that could be the case. But let's say that it doesn't. Like they're trying to strike a different tone, right? You can like tell us what the powers are without directly telling us what the powers are. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, we know the dude is tough, and we know that he's stronger than most. But
and he can't fly.
Yeah, I guess we do know that, right? Because he gets dropped, and we're like,
and he actually mentions it. Like at that point, there's like he does this like little speech where he's like, "I've trained my body to do a lot of things, but flying isn't one of them."
And that's like, and it's things like choices like that, right? So you take the time to tell me what you can't do. It's like, why are we doing that? Like, no one thought you could fly. So why don't you tell us what you can do? You know what I mean? So like, it's just a strange choice to make where it's like, I don't know if he's just trying to establish that he can't fly because so when he drops later, we get why, but it's like, that feels like a bad narrative choice to me where I'm just like, if you got to spell out, then we're doing something wrong, like I don't know. It's weird.
Well, it's for humor.
Yeah, it's like One Punch Man
as he's falling into the car.
It wasn't funny. Maybe that's what my problem was. I didn't find it funny. Maybe I didn't find it funny. So I don't know. I was just like, it's weird.
It is a little tropey. I thought it was a little funny.
Okay.
Now,
No, look, there it is.
was any of this like worse than I got patriotism written in me like bacon, like that type of line? Remember that?
No, it's definitely not that bad.
Yeah.
It's definitely not that bad. But I don't know, man. It's one of those things where, it's definitely not that bad. I can say that. What I will say is this: is that if you're like, and this kind of echoes the point you made earlier, Mo, where it's like, yeah, you're like, mainstream comics suck, and that's fair. That's a fair opinion to have.
Yeah.
You know, like if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But if you're gonna say mainstream comics sucks, and I'm gonna make you a comic to show you how comics is done right, I feel like you got to bring it when you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like this is not bringing it. This is not like it on any level. That's the thing. Like, I would give it a pass if it was more of a like world building, like Rippaverse Alpha, and it was like little stories of each of the people, and that was like what he's trying to do. Like, I feel like that I would have definitely probably enjoyed more because it would have been small pieces. I would have gotten different characters, maybe, you know, like, but, and I don't know that's what he was trying to do with this book. I feel like this book was him trying to tell a narrative, because the book is like, you know, it's oversized. It's not 22 pages. I don't know how many pages it is, but it's longer than you know, a standard comic book size. And so it had the room to work and give you the story and like establish some characters. And I know about, say again?
Sorry, 96 pages.
Okay. So by the time I got to the end of this, you know, I was kind of hoping to feel like invested in, I mean, even if it's not the main character, in a character somewhere, or feel like, okay, like I got a good sense of you know, what this world is about and who's in it or whatever. Like, but all of it just feels so generic that it's just like, yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I was disappointed.
Well, and that's really the thing. It's like, you know, when you tell somebody, like, now I'm like, I have an idea for an anti-woke comic, and I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna make the most anti-woke comic, and I'm just gonna roll with it. I mean, this dude made $3,343,000 with this thing. No, $3,737,920.
Yeah,
you know, and that's, you know, he sold 42,000 copies. You know, let's see what number 2 does. You know, but yeah, but I'm like, I could get 10% of that, especially labeling it as like the one true anti-woke comic out there.
yeah,
It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
so
I think the first book got a huge bump from It's a New Thing, and it's a new thing from this guy that people
from being called a new thing, because it's really just any superhero book that Boom Studios tries to put out.
right, but it's a new thing from him. You know, it's a new IP.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just like with a lot of things, I think how number 2 does, or some of the other books do, is going to say a lot more about how people feel about the book. Because, you know, a number 1 from a new company, it's going to get more attention than number 2. So,
yeah, of course. I mean, that's just comics in general.
Yeah,
it's why Marvel renumbers their books every 6 to 12 months, right? It's like,
yeah, and unlike other independent creators, he has a huge platform and a huge base that'll hey, let's see. He's been talking about this for years. Let's see what you can do. You know, and are gonna take that chance.
Yeah, and for the first one, well, at least I don't know. I guess depends on the fans, but if they're just gonna buy whatever he puts out, then yeah, I guess that'll do it. It could just keep doing them, but
But here, it remains to be seen if that'll happen. Because it's like, I mean, sure.
I'm coming for you, Tiger Claw, and heck, better drop your wallets. Anti-woke comic coming from Salute.
Thank you. Like, sure,
Tiger
the dude
Claw
has
needs
a follower.
extra woke.
I'm sorry, say that.
Tiger Claw needs a book that's extra woke.
No, but I mean, my anti-woke comic between me and you guys and the three people listening, it's anti-woke in the sense that the guy can't he can't
sleep.
He's sleep paralysis. It's a sleep paralysis horror story, so you can't wake up. Or at least
I would love it if you put out a book that Lawrence can't read.
Oh no, he would definitely, he couldn't read this. If he's afraid of going to church, throw the trash in the dark, he can't read this.
For the record, we're all afraid of throwing the trash away.
I'm not.
Okay, but you are. I'm man enough to admit it.
No,
yeah.
But,
look,
are you man enough to go throw the trash?
Yeah, look, my fear doesn't stop me from doing anything that I should be or need to be doing. My fear, my fear only, the only time I let my fear stop me from doing something are things I don't have to do. It doesn't make, I don't do fear for entertainment. That's ridiculous. It's not fun for me. Why would I do that? What? So you think different of me? That's dumb.
It's funny. I was at the comic book shop today, real quick, without derailing, and this one of the employees had to sit there and try to read stuff because she can't handle gore in comics. And
yeah, what was she trying to read?
I don't even know, but I heard it, but I'm like, I had to not think about it because I didn't want to make fun of her. So but it's she's like, oh, he gives her a stack to read because I guess they do the blockbuster, the staff pick stuff. And he's like, I know if it's Emily, Subculture Girl on YouTube says that was a high pitch, yeah.
Yeah.
That means you're lying. But yeah, anyway, she was I don't remember what we say on the air. But yeah, she's an employee and he's got to worry about what she can and can't read to recommend to people, which I thought was you might not be able to do the job, or you just do the kids section.
Most comics are bored.
I know.
All right.
They would never hire me, and I want to work at a comic shop.
Definitely get hired at comic book stores, Moses. You should not work at a comic book store because you already have your own business that is successful that you're running. But if you wanted to, you could do it. I can't imagine any member of the Fantastic Four not being able to get a job at a comic shop.
Oh, not after talking shit about that comic shop on the air. I can't get in there.
Well, maybe not that one, but a comic shop. I'm sorry. Anyway, Isom.
Eddie is like, nah, I'm good.
So yeah, I mean, how did y'all feel about the art?
He's better than Mark.
How do you feel about the art? It's better than Mark Bagley?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's on that level, that mediocre art.
Damn.
So, I love Mark
Bagley art.
Yeah, I love him. He's it's definitely a style, but
yeah.
In the age where we've had Humberto Ramos is doing Spider-Man,
yeah,
going to Mark Bagley's or Bagley. I call him Bagley because I like bagels. And then but yeah, going back to him is a little
it's definitely more traditional, safer, middle of the road. Yeah.
And it makes the comic now seem as good.
Okay.
I'm reading the end of Spider-Verse, so yeah.
Gotcha. Oz, what about you, man?
What was the question?
The art.
Art for Isom number 1.
It was fine. It's better than the average independent book. There's some talent there. I'm not gonna say it's like the most amazing art I've ever seen. It's I'm gonna say it's above average.
Okay.
Above average for a regular book. Even higher than that if you compare it to just other independent books.
Jay, how about you, man? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, it was fine. Nothing special, but definitely better than a lot of independent books out there.
Gotcha. Cool. Anything else y'all want to say about Isom number 1 before we rate it?
I don't like this costume.
As well.
You don't like Isom's costume?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see it till like the last 2 pages.
Yeah, and it's like really bad. Like,
and then it's implied that the costume's gonna do something.
Yeah.
like suddenly he's more powerful because he got his costume back.
I got my threads. That's how Isom talks. I don't know why. He's like, why would I look up on Janine?
You know what I did find, like, you know, what I did like about it was just, you know, the interaction. Like, it had multiracial people in it, and none of them felt too over the top in the language. It was a little like, not everybody black person talks like that, but at least it was a black person that wrote it. It wasn't like that Miles Morales Thor comic. You know what I mean? But that's what I would have expected from a Comicsgate type dude to do for black people dialogue. and
even a black one?
Well, I didn't know this guy was black till today.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you tell me, like, it's like a Comicsgate type dude. I just think a white dude. But, you know.
Oh, no. Eric July is a black guy.
Yeah, no. And we met people like that are black too at Jeffries. You know, our podcast episode.
Yeah.
What is it? So Much Hate. I forget what number it is, but it's in iTunes and everywhere. You get to hear fans directly from the comic shop talking about diversity comics and not liking it.
That's Isom's costume, just for those that wanted to, you know, wondering what it looks like. Yeah.
It's not as cool as Goldball's costume.
No, I mean, honestly, Goldball's costume is a little generic as well. However,
hey, don't say that, man. Look, that's I'm gonna be Goldballs for the Hellfire Gala, man.
But here's the thing, though. Goldball's costume is designed perfectly for his power set.
Yeah.
So, like, when he uses his powers, the costume, like, it feels like it feels like it's has a utility to it to a degree. So, you know, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it like
we don't know that's not the case with Isom.
Because we don't know what his powers do.
Yeah.
We're like, wait till he puts that costume on, boy. Then you gonna know. Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's rate Isom number 1. Let's start with you, Jay.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5. There's nothing special here, and I expected it to be more. Like, maybe my expectations were off because it is a Comicsgate guy, but I was expecting it to be a lot worse, and it was just regular.
Moses Magnum, what would you rate Isom number 1?
I would give it like a 3. It's just middle of the road, average. I mean, the art was okay. I like the color. The color did good. Like, I feel that elevated the art a little. Even there was a couple panels where faces were drawn a little weird, but the color just made it work. And it made the story, especially in that moment, the story flowed so I didn't get stuck on those bad faces. But and that's that's a comics team working in synergy almost. So that
Right.
brings it up that almost half of a point or 0.25 of a point to a 3. Yeah, for me. And then, but yeah, it's basically very average, very non-important. It's almost like every DC book out that's not part of a big tie-in.
Okay, Oscar, what would you give Isom number 1?
I'm gonna go with 4, but I'm being very generous.
Okay.
Like very, very generous for an independent first book. It's a 4.
Okay.
If we're gonna compare it
Got
to the big companies, then yeah, it'd go a lot lower.
Yeah. I would say, like, I definitely hear what you all are saying. Like, on the scale of independent books, it's definitely, from a production value wise, it is like much better than many independent books.
Yeah, but at $35,
right, which is definitely
yeah,
something worth mentioning, because that's a crazy
I'd
price.
take a ash can for 10.
Indeed.
Now, to be fair, it is like 4 issues.
Yeah, that is true too.
But
And
35 is a lot. $35 is still a lot, but for 4 issues, it's like it's pretty bad, but not as bad as like paying $35 for like a regular size comic.
I bought 5 issues today at the comic shop. It was 18 something.
Like I said, it's bad. It's just not as bad as it could be.
I mean, we all know, like, independent books are usually more expensive than like mainstream titles.
Right.
So,
like 5-6
but
bucks.
still. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I have to rate it. I think 2.5 as well, just because it's just middle of the road, man. Like, it's very, very average, and I think that made a little bit of my expectations definitely, like, just to be completely transparent, my expectations very well may have tainted my appreciation of the book. Like, I might have felt different about this if I didn't know who it was coming from. Not because I have anything against Eric July necessarily or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but there are a lot of creators I don't agree with a lot of things they say. It's
look,
more
I don't
so
agree
the idea
do with the characters sometimes.
Right, exactly. But it's more so the idea that because of what I know about his philosophies on comics, I was expecting, I guess, a little bit more of that passion or fire in the book itself. And when I almost rather it be, what was the book? American Terror? What was it?
Yeah.
Holy Terror? Okay, I almost rather it be American Terror than just Land. Like, it's almost more offensive that it's just like, yeah. And so I think that affects my score a little bit. So yeah, 2.5 is what I'm going to give it. So let's y'all good to move on to Lackadaisy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Also,
no, more about gel coat.
When the 4th round would...
Don't you call
does it look good already?
Jumbo Scampi for limited.
You brought Lackadaisy to the table. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's 1927, Louisiana. Prohibition is in full swing, and the Lackadaisy is a speakeasy that's head has been killed by rivals, and the widow is trying to keep everything running. So in the pilot, we see Rocky, Freckle, and Ivy are basically going to pick up some booze. And they get met by one of their rivals, and it's basically a chase and a shootout and a whatever the fuck Rocky was doing with the dynamite until they get away and return back to the Lackadaisy with their ill-gotten booze.
That pretty much sums it up. Yeah, I mean, even though it's interesting because I feel like...
Oh, I forgot to mention anthropomorphic cats.
That's what I was going to say, where like I feel like it's kind of a big detail. Like I feel like you say that and people are like, oh, okay, like, you know, that's
like
different.
That's an episode of Boardwalk Empire.
Right. And then they go to watch it and it's like, what are these cats? oh, did I not mention it's anthropomorphic cats? It's like, no, Jay, actually, you did not mention that, and that feels like classic Jay. Whereas, like, no, Jay, you didn't tell me that everybody in the world is a cat.
That kind of fits its tone and everything because the story is just a story, and that story could easily be told with people, and it happens to be told with cats.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
and that's that's what makes a good anthropomorphic fiction, you know, furry fiction.
Also, I will say that unless I'm wrong, I thought the setting was St. Louis. Am I wrong in that?
No, I'm probably wrong.
It's along the Mississippi for sure.
Which St. Louis is.
Okay.
Like St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, it's probably with St. Louis. I said Louisiana because of the
Louis?
No, the southern, the Cajun drawl of the people they were fighting.
Yeah. But liquor runners come from all over the place. Like, if you watch Boardwalk Empire, Jay, you would know that they all meet in Ohio from all over the country and fight it out.
There it is.
Right.
So Oz, what did you think of this, man? Like, I'm interested to hear your opinion, just because I feel like this might be a little bit outside of your usual wheelhouse. Were you able to get a chance to check this out?
I like the animation, even though it changes. Like, you can tell this was done by a team. Like, there's spots where it's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's good. I like the story that's being told. You know, I like what everybody does. I don't like the main character. I don't like Rocky. I don't know why he was speaking poetically most of the time. And like, there's one point where he just goes nuts, but we don't know why. With like the tiger guy, whatever the Tiger Claw character, whatever he like. There's a moment where they're handing him a gun, and he's being hesitant, like you can see, oh, something's gonna happen. And when he finally gets the gun, he just goes nuts. So you start like, okay, all right, so this dude's got some issues, and he's been trying to control it. But when Rocky does it, I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, he looked like he was gonna pass out after the car accident, and next thing I know, he's like talking about a circus on top of some machine, throwing dynamite randomly. Like, it was weird.
Yeah,
I had no idea what was happening at that point.
That's because you didn't watch Boardwalk Empire, man.
No.
Look, so Boardwalk Empire is the prerequisite viewing to Lackadaisy pilot.
I don't know. Like, I don't think that he's based on Lucky Luciano, but that's kind of like Lucky Luciano acts, and especially in Boardwalk Empire. Like, he does the risky stuff, and he just kind of like comes through. You know, even Al Capone, like when they meet for the first time, it's like Al Capone, like, you know, I like you, you know, like you always come out on top, and it's like you always land on your feet, you know, like a cat. So, yeah, so you know, so it kind of
all connected.
Yeah, so that's where it's like I'm like I really like that, and then even the speaking poetically, I love because it's like, hey, the guy's an artist. He's not a thug. he's brought here, So the fiddling and everything, like especially with the South and Mississippi, I'm like, man, is this guy gonna talk to the devil at one point? He's gonna battle the devil on the fiddle off. Like I'm in.
I think he turned into the devil.
Real quick.
Well, maybe and that's the thing. Maybe he already did, and that's why he's so lucky.
Real quick, Tiger Claw says, "Is this show family friendly or is it for adults?" It's not an adults only thing. There is gunplay and a very small amount of blood. Language is safe. I would say general audiences.
No, it's PG at least, right?
Well, I think the big thing is they're drinking, and it takes place in a speakeasy or is a speakeasy where they're gambling.
Look, sports is for all ages, and there's beer commercials all over the place telling you how cool you're gonna be after you get in the car and crash. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if people got PG. Yeah, PG sounds right.
And the PG is general audiences.
Well, it's parent guidance.
PG is parental guidance.
But Tiger Claw is an adult.
It's a general audience.
Tiger Claw is a grown ass man, so he can watch it without.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tiger Claw's fine. But it's interesting because
there's no language. There's no real like. I mean, there's violence like that because they're shooting at each other at one point, but there's more cartoon violence because nobody actually like gets really mangled or anything like that. And yeah, they're just drinking.
Oh, you wait, Oz. You wait.
No, look, it could happen. I could see it happening, but I don't think it will.
Now, what I will say is, based on what you were saying about, go ahead, Jay.
I will say, I read a little bit of the comic, and they do show Atlas like being shot, but it is like it's not a graphic thing.
Right.
So
it's just something where he's like, oh, and he's holding it, right? Maybe
something like that. So even if it does get picked up, it's not going to go overboard with violence.
The whole thing is stylized too, because even like the barrage of bullets is like artistic. It's not just a glorification of violence. You know what I mean? But even this country don't worry about kids with violence. They worry about kids with sex and weed. Yeah.
It's funny. Jimmy Palmiotti on Twitter posted this picture or these two pictures, which one do you find more offensive? And one is like the family group, like the Christmas card or whatever, where they're all holding guns. And the other one's like this hot naked chick or hot topless chick. And it's like, it's funny because, gun thing is super, super offensive, but American politics is like, no, that hot girl, she's evil. These idiots with all these guns, they're the normal ones.
There's something wrong with me because I saw that post and I was like, I like both pictures.
There it is. Mo's the moderate.
Or chaos neutral.
Going back to Lackadaisy, it's interesting because you're all talking about the main character and how he seems a little manic at different points. And yeah, I agree with Moses. I just saw it as that dude is 100% like an artist, and he gets wrapped up in the performance of things. He's acting crazy, but he's not actually crazy. He's just he sobers up real quick as soon as that dynamite comes back at him. He's like, oh, it's not like he was just he's not the Joker. He was just acting like the Joker, and he's just like, oh, he's like
that second one of the three Jokers in the three Joker theory.
Right. And so I was just like, oh, it's interesting, how this guy is even when he's in mortal danger, he still has the need or feels the need to perform, because it's he could just go ahead and just do what he needs to do to get out of the situation and let them go back get everybody back to the speakeasy. But he's like, no, I mean, like, he's like, oh, I see a stage here, which is a crazy thing that, someone would look at a construction vehicle and be like, oh yeah, this is my stage now. And like, let me use this dynamite. These are my pyrotechnics, it's my lights, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, dude, it's crazy. I'm just like, what in the world? Like I will tell you, my experience watching this was just like, because I went into it completely blind. So I was just like, I don't know what this is going to be about. And I was like, oh, this is Prohibition era stuff, which, like, I immediately recognized, like, we're in, like, the 1920s or whatever.
Yeah.
Just from the way everything looks.
The art style is on point. Like, it looks like the dude from Boardwalk Empire shot it.
No, absolutely. No, the art style is spectacular. And here's the sad fact of the matter. I did, after the fact, I went back to go look and just be like, okay, so this is a webcomic. Let me go check that out. And the original webcomic is actually, like, drawn in sepia tones. And there's a part of me that's like, damn, how cool would this have been if this whole thing was, like, in sepia instead of color? Like, I like, and there's a part of me that's like, I kind of feel like there should be, like, a sepia version of it. Like, I'm not saying that, you got to redo everything, because Lord knows, but like a sepia toned version of it, I feel like would get a rewatch from me. But anyway, I'm sitting here watching this straight and I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing some Prohibition stuff, which, is an interesting era in American history to me, generally speaking. And then, like, I like that whole, like, the politics of that time and the gangsta era, like, kind of stories that they would tell during then. And I'm like, okay, and then these cats, and I'm like, that's different. And, but I agree, like, the animation I really enjoyed. And yeah, while it's unfortunately not consistent, when it's good, it's really good. Like, it's like, it definitely feels like some old school, traditional, like, Disney or Don Bluth kind of stuff happening, which I'm like, man, that's kind of crazy, because this, like, it's giving me independent vibes, but when it's on, it's definitely
like
pushing, like, yeah, like, full on production. And I'm just like, who did this? Like, who was this person that's like, let me do Prohibition era stories with cartoon cats? Like, why?
It pissed me off, because now I gotta go and I gotta something else I gotta fund on Patreon.
Now, you guys all watch the after credit scene?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was interesting to set up, like, if it does get fully funded.
Yeah.
It does set up the conflict really nice.
It does that, but also I watched it just because the credits, like the production, we talk about the production of it, the credits look good too. like how can we
credits
like
were nice.
we need to have credits after each show that look like this.
Also too, but I will say that one of my criticisms of the thing was that after credit scene should have been, like, at the end of the movie or the end of the episode. Like, it should, like, because I'm sure there's some people that watch the credits, and when the credits started, they turned it off. You know what I mean? And if you do that, the ending feels abrupt. And, I personally felt like the ending was a little bit abrupt, and I was just like, huh, and like, let me just kind of wait and see if there's more. And there was. And so that's good, but I'm just like, because it was strange to me that there would, like, with as good as the storytelling was up until that point, that ending would be the ending. And I was like, that's strange. Like, it feels like a misstep there. And I'm like, there was probably more. And I waited, and there was. That should be on the end of the show or the episode. And if they want, like, a mid or an after credit scene or something else, they should do something else. Because you need that. Like, I feel like what you come away with without that is a lesser product. And that's like, you don't want to you don't want to leave people with the possibility of them, like, because not everybody sits through credits. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody does that. So I'm just saying, you want to give them the enough story so they come away feeling complete. And if there's something extra, and the thing that was not extra, that was necessary for the story to me.
Okay. Well, I've got to go.
Yeah, let's start rating it.
I would like to rate it.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to give this a 4.5. It's really good, very minor flaws, but overall it was really fun. Beautiful animation most of the time. Especially the eyes. Like, I love the eyes. They're so expressive, and they do the pupil dilation a lot, and it's just really good. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the characters. And I just had a really good time watching it. And I do hope we get more.
How many comics are there? Like, how far does the comic go in relation to the animation?
I believe the comic is like 160 pages, I think.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
There's a lot of web comics. Like,
so even if it doesn't, I can still get a little more.
No, like, it's crazy because I went to look and I was just like, okay, no, there's a lot there, like 10, 11 worth of like webtoons comics. and I think it was started, like, if I remember right, I think they said it was started in like 07 or 06. Like, the young lady who did the webcomic already won an Eisner. So yeah. So okay. So 4.5 for Jay. There it is. How about you, Mo?
That's a 5.
Yeah, are you dipping out? Or are you gonna listen to the rest of the ratings?
I think I'm gonna listen to the ratings. I'll be on for like 2.5 more minutes.
Perfect. Go ahead.
I'm gonna rate Jay's camera and lighting a 5 today. He lit himself really good. That's what I like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera looks good. But the show, the Lackadaisy's 5. That's a 5. I love anthropomorphic. I love cats, and anthropomorphic cats. I'm in. Hey, I love Prohibition. I'm in. I love Noir. I'm in. And this is like I'm gonna film my brother watching this because I'm gonna tell him you need to watch this. This is Boardwalk Empire with a tail, and he's gonna love it. Like, if I tell it to him like that, he's gonna love it. And so yeah, I'm gonna film my brother's or like his reaction watching this, kind of like Larry with horror, but it'll be Doug with ecstasy. Yeah.
Oscar, what would you rate Lackadaisy?
4.5 sounds about right. It's a good story. It's when the animation is on point, it is top notch. The parts that I criticize, like, it might be like a minute total. It looks good. I only had a problem with Rocky, but I guess that's just what he's supposed to be.
That's fair.
It's like,
that's fair.
I feel like if you get to know him more, you wouldn't have that same problem. I feel like I got to know him enough, but that's part of the comic. Like, if you the character, like, you just don't know enough about him yet, so it kind of rubs you wrong. But I think if you get to know him more and whatever,
yeah, there's something going on with him because he's the only one that's like that. Everybody else is more normal,
except for the tiger one, where
but he's not.
But you give him a gun and he's a psychopath. So like everybody has the thing, and we just don't get them to really see what it is. I mean, there's a soliloquy of somebody talking to a dead guy, and that alone, like that scene alone, if that was the short, I'm like, I'm fucking in, like
the sad fact, or not the sad fact, but it's really interesting because just in this 20 something minute pilot episode, I feel like they established characterization for like half a dozen characters, like easy, where it's just
Isom couldn't do that.
Okay.
No,
It didn't, unfortunately, and that's all. Yeah,
I'm so glad we reviewed these together because this was a crowdfunded project too, and it's somebody that does something and has an idea and wants to better the medium, like Isom, and this does it better. Like that character, the bartender character alone, like it's like, well, people need to know like they could talk to you, and then you see him, he's got a patch on his eye. And that alone, like if it wasn't his demeanor, the patch alone would make him a little like not trustworthy. But then his demeanor, and then when it all goes down and he just scratches the counter, I'm like, I need to know why he's that protective of her, you know?
No, 100%, and like that's the whole thing where you get like the widow, and she, again, like she's going through her own thing. Even the friggin' the music man, the dude that he's sitting at the bar and he doesn't want to play because he's like, there's nobody in here. What am I playing for? And it's like, it's like it's like you're getting all of this like characterization, and to a degree,
I didn't even mind the music number. And it was period inappropriate. Like it should have been more jazzy and more bluesy.
Music.
Yeah, I wanted something different. And I'm not saying I wanted Al Jolson, but I did want something like look again. Watch Boardwalk Empire. You'll get what I'm talking about. Like depending on what part of the city you're at, the music changes for the show. And it's like that. I felt like that needed it. The music was too swinging, especially for everything that happened. It should have been a little more Robert Johnson-y.
You got the over theatrical main character.
Yeah.
You have like this other character who's like trying to rein in his dark side. You have the budding relationship between him and the other young lady that's like driving the car, and she's trying to
get driver that doesn't know how to drive.
Right, exactly, and then it's like then even like the bad guys, right? Like the weird relationship that's going on between those two folks, which I don't even know if they're brother and sister or like or something. Like I think they might be brother and sister, but they might be lovers. It's weird. Well, and then the other dude, huh?
With cats, that works.
Hey, listen, I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying that I'm interested. And then Mordecai, friggin' this dude, like just the way he just like takes his time doing everything. I'm like, dude, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but I want to know. Like this fool's like friggin' like the friggin' Gustav Fring of the friggin' of the cat.
He's Gustav Fring with a tail.
Right. Right. Where I'm just like, dude. So yeah. But no,
even how you with the gun, like that scene, like I'm gonna take him out, and he just has that fucking with the Glock or 9mm or whatever, and he's just like, and then he almost gets him. If the chick knew how to drive, he would have got him. It's just she didn't know how to drive. He wasn't counted.
100%. So anyway, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 too. Like it does have like there's some mistakes that it makes, but they're infinitesimal in the grand scheme of things.
You know what? That's part of the art for me. The stylized.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's good stuff, man. It's fun, and I hope they make more because I would like to watch them.
They got comics. I'm gonna read the fucking comics.
Right. There it is. I agree, and like trust me, once you see the sepia tone mode, you might fall in love all over again.
Yeah, I usually think as a photographer, I think sepia tone is useless, but yeah, I think here they found a use for it.
No, I mean it's crazy. All right, Jay is out. So cool.
Real quick, Tiger Claw in chat says Moses loves cats. I thought he was a dog person. I am a dog man. Like I they say men are dogs, and I'm the embodiment of that statement. But I'm loyal, friendly. You fuck with somebody I love, I'll bite your neck out. But I love cats too, and I think I've had more cats in my life than
Mo
dogs.
just loves animals in general.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say mostly animal lover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I love eating them. I love having pets. I love. Yeah.
So cool. All right. Well, there's plenty to talk about in the comic space. Look, let me come to you, Oz. Is there anything in particular that has been on your mind or that you've seen lately that you might want to chat about for a little bit?
No,
I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything.
Oh, it's too late.
No, you're getting that deer in headlights look like
spotlight.
What? I know. Right. I'm gonna say, listen, Oz, I'm just like I know that there's been, like I said, there's been a lot of different things that have just happened in the news that might interest you. Right.
Well, yeah, but he said comic book wise.
Well, in the comic book space, I'm not saying it doesn't be comic book specific, but yeah, like Blue Beetle trailer came out. Look, since we spoke last, Joe Q got hired to go over and consult for, what is it, for Netflix? Is it for Netflix?
Amazon.
Or is it for Hulu? Oh, for Amazon. There it is. So yeah, Amazon. There it is. So so we got that. Like there's a lot of different things happening in the comic space in general. So yeah, anything in particular has been on your mind or that got on your radar where you're like, let me speak on it?
Nothing new. Like Superman and Lois had one of like the best like epic intros to a TV show like 2 episodes ago.
Wait, what happened? So they changed it?
No, not intro like the credits and all that, but like the opening scene.
Oh, what was the opening scene? Tell us about it, since it was 2 weeks ago.
It was it's a dream sequence. And very quickly you realize it's got to be a dream sequence. And it's Lois, it's after her cancer diagnosis. She's like in the middle of Metropolis screaming for Superman's help. And he like wakes up out of bed, flies out there, and he's like trying to get to her as like the whole city around her is like caving in.
Oh,
and,
wow.
like some apocalyptic thing. And it's like no matter how hard he tries, he can't get to her fast enough. And I think it has to do with him freaking out about, like Mo said, cancer is like something he can't punch.
Yeah. I said that? Man, I'm awesome. I don't remember that.
This fool! He said I said that?
Wait, he said something like that, right, Lawrence?
He did. He 100% did.
Yeah.
He 100%
Damn,
did.
that's so good. That's why I need you to, because I vomit my words and I need you to put them in context.
By the way, this last episode that came out today, there's a moment where there's a dude that basically fucks with Superman's family, like does something to one of his kids, threatens his wife, and I mean he can't let people know that's his wife and kids, so he's like, oh, I'm gonna take care of this. He starts walking out the door, and Lois is like, dude, this isn't a job for Superman, and just the way he looks at her, he's like, Superman's not the one showing up, and then he goes, what's the dude as Clark Kent, dude, like that.
Look, I kind of wish you hadn't told us all this because I'm 2 episodes behind. But that, like, when you talk about,
I love the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, but like when you talk about that opening sequence being so epic, but that ending when he finds out because he overhears that she has cancer. It's so like heartbreaking, like because the show is shot so well. It's like on anamorphic screen and the film grain, like it's very cinematic. It's almost like the happy medium between the CW and a Zack Snyder film, and that's kind of what makes the show good too. All that really makes is just a good content,
Right.
So, and like the dude acting out as Superman, like I don't like swarthy Superman. I didn't like it when I found out, but the dude does it almost better than almost anybody. and like him like
He's a good
flying
character.
through the sky, hearing that she has cancer, and he's like, it's like the rug pulled out of him mid-air. You know, he's like, I'm surprised he didn't like lose the ability to fly for like 2 seconds. You know, because it was like a shock to his system. And so like, and then to me that was epic. And then hearing this epic now is his dreams, and it's like, and that we kind of talked about that too, where it's like, if I'm gonna write comics, I'll write a character that Superman can't fight, that would like a Freddy Krueger that would attack him in his dreams, and usually that's ourselves. So
and that probably makes it more. That probably makes it more interesting. Is what does a guy like Superman have nightmares about?
Right. Yeah,
and that's it.
And that's it's like the fear. Like if you tell me, like, I mean, Larry, you read the was it Irredeemable, but I don't. Did they ever tell you what turned them into like the villain?
I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but yeah,
it was when Superior. It was Superior, right? The good guy, the powered one.
No, Plutonian.
Whatever. It's when his arch nemesis turned bad, and he's like, well, if he's bad, then I can't be bad because I'm his opposite.
No, that's Incorruptible.
Yeah. Irredeemable is the Superman type character that goes bad.
I don't remember what made him go bad. I just remember what made
I don't remember either. Good.
Yeah.
They do tell you. I know that. I do remember that, but I can't remember what it was.
And that's the thing. Like, if you watch a show like Lois, like Superman and Lois, it's like, man, like if he got killed, if the kid with no powers got killed, hit by a car by a drunk driver, I would see that Superman being irredeemable. Because it's like he loves his family. Like, he toned down his superheroics to be the father. It's only because they have all these threats coming now, but for like a long time he wasn't even really Superman all that much. And it's gonna be and that's the thing. It's like when Superman loses hope, it's like, watch out.
Yeah, I hate that show is so good.
Yeah, I love that it's good. I love telling people that it's good because they discount me and then watch it, and they're like, "Man, you're right."
Yeah, no, that's when I told you guys about that show.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it
as a sleeper hit.
I watched it here.
Yeah, I hate that it's good because I although I'm getting over it, especially after today's episode, like what he looks like.
Yeah. No, he doesn't look like Superman.
But I hate that he's got the 2 kids, but I like the kids.
Yeah.
There's so many things about this show that bothers me, but it's so good that I'm like overlooking it. And it's one of my favorite DC shows right now.
And that's the whole thing, where it's like, on paper, it sounds like a terrible show, but the execution of it is so good that it wins you over.
Yeah, whoever's doing
and that's
it's got to move on to the movies.
Well, here's the thing: like, if James Gunn is listening, I know he's one of the 5 listening right now, but like, you fucking up, man. Like, this is it. Like, bring that Superman in. If you don't want Cavill, bring this dude. Like, and bring him from here. Like, just say, oh, we're out here doing our thing in the Flashpoint. He gets sucked in. And look, if you want to do the Dark Knight-verse type shit, take him away from his family because of this Flashpoint shit, but have him keep the memories.
Technically, the last Flashpoint, give him an extra kid.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. That's not
the last Flashpoint. Give him an extra kid.
Yeah,
that's how this happened. That's how
Superman from the TV show, remember, only had 1 kid.
Yeah,
and then after Flashpoint, he finds out he has 2.
But you don't have those memories though. It's just like that's the Splinter universe, like the.
Yeah, I don't even think they acknowledge the universe.
It's almost like the variant. Like he's the variant.
Yeah, like there's an episode where Diggle shows up as Diggle, but it's not. Everybody Diggle thought it was a crossover. It wasn't.
Yeah.
He's totally different Diggle.
Like he's a variant. Like they're doing that Loki, that Loki.
Different Diggle.
I love Andy Diggle as a writer, and I love because that's all a tribute to him, and so he's like transcending, like it's like the people that love Diggle don't even know he fucking writes comics.
Right. Right. So what since we brought it up earlier, what did you all think of that Blue Beetle trailer?
I I think it's a ripoff of Iron Man in terms of the trailer. I don't know what the movie's gonna be.
I thought
Okay.
I mean it looked good. It's something that I want to see. I'm interested in. And the dude, the kid, he's good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the
The
dude from
the
Cobra
effects
Kai.
the effects for the most part look good. There's
Mhm.
towards the end when he does that thing with the sword, it looks a little bit video gamey. Like
Yeah.
maybe that still needs a little bit more time. But based on what we saw up to that point, like it looks like it's gonna be good.
I don't know if it was the trailer that I saw because it wasn't the official like YouTube channel. But YouTube downgrades shit, and if now with the new TVs and shit, if they actually made it in 8K and then it got downgraded, but when it gets downgraded, it doesn't look like lower quality. It just looks like low budget. And that's like even Emily was like, it looks low budget. But I'm like, no, it just looks super clear. But I think it's a frame rate issue. Like I don't know if it's like my connection with combination with my TV that just made it look
Mhm.
like that. But it did look a little low budgety, very almost like Miami Vicey, but not the movie, you know?
Mhm.
But I don't know if that's just a product of like, distribution through internet or server space or, anything that can happen on the internet. Like I know we had the issue with our live stream from WonderCon where it looked real blurry for me, but everybody that saw it said it looked fine. And
That's wild.
And it does bug me. Bug that that like his transformation happens in front of his whole family.
yeah,
What's that?
Huh?
the secret identity
Is
thing.
that
Because of the secret identity aspect of it, and
Yeah.
it seems like it's gonna be a
But
family
but
venture.
Oz, you're a Chicano. Like, you can't hide nothing from your mother. Like, she knows everything.
You can't, but part of the journey is her finding out, like seeing her
Yeah, but that's for
family.
white
Yeah.
heroes. That's for white heroes. For Hispanics, it's like, nah, we like the fuck, man. Like,
Don't act like you never try to hide shit, and
I
then they
tried
just
to hide shit, yeah, but she knew without there wasn't the finding out. The finding out wasn't the journey. She knew.
right. But this is like out in the open.
Yeah,
It's not,
but
it's not like he comes home and she's like, "Mijo, ¿qué es eso?"
I'm not saying that Chicano wrote it. I'm saying that's like what happens with a Latin Latinx family. They always know you can't hide shit from your family. There's too many people living in the goddamn house.
Like there are a lot of people in that house.
No, but that's what it is. That's a family. Like that's just not what it. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't need to see George Lopez piloting the what the hell is that thing called? The airbug.
Yeah. I'm okay with it.
I'm not even sure if I want the airbug in it if Cord isn't there.
Oh, you're talking about the actual ship.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the whole alien thing, and the comics had a separation, and then they had a adjoinment. The movie could have just done without the adjoinment. Like if they're not gonna have a Ted Cord, why bother like connecting it?
I'm not even sure the company where he gets the Beetle is Cord Industries, which it should be. At least
I think it is.
At the very I thought it was, but
I hope it is, but I don't remember seeing the name. But I hope it is.
I thought I heard it, but it could have just been me like assuming.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that for me, like watching the trailer, I was like, man, that actually looks good to me. Like it looks fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like one of those things where I like that version of Blue Beetle. I don't know that I like that version of Blue Beetle better than like the traditional version of Blue Beetle, because like I'm a big fan of the whole like I like the Blue Beetle Booster Gold dynamic.
Yeah.
And I also like the Blue Beetle dynamic inside of like a version of like the Justice League. You know what I mean? Where it's like, like a lesser, like that lesser version. You know what I mean? So it's like, but like I guess what I'm saying is it would have been cool to see that, but I'm endeared to it's Jamie Reyes, right?
Yeah.
Or Jaime. I don't know. Jaime. The Jaime Reyes version of Blue Beetle is like a cool version of Blue Beetle to me as well. And I didn't realize, or I had forgotten, that this kid was the guy that was playing that version of the character. And I feel like I'm like, oh, that's actually really good casting. Like I like when I watched the trailer and saw him, I was like, oh, it's like I like that guy, and I feel like he could really like bring the different levels to that character in a movie. And also too, I honestly, like, if you had asked me if I wanted like a family dynamic for the Blue Beetle movie, like what I saw in the trailer, I would have probably said no. But when I saw what was actually happening in the trailer, I was like, actually, this seems kind of cool. Like, that's different, And like in a way that I think like the way the trailer handled it made it feel like it was like a good balance, as opposed to like something that would like overly dominate the movie. But again, it's only a trailer. It's not the actual movie. Huh?
Yeah, it's a trailer. I mean, they can cut that however they want.
Exactly. And not only do they cut it however they want, but it's a cut that's completely, say what?
Sometimes, however they can, because I mean, like you said, like that sword shot looked very video gamey.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's one. Yeah, the effects aren't necessarily completely done by the time the trailer comes out. But what I was also going to say is that they cut it like the person that cuts the trailer for the movie is, as far as I know, mostly completely divorced from, like, say, the director. It's not like it's like
They
people
probably haven't even seen the movie.
People that cut the trailer, that might be true too.
Yeah, they just get like clips and are like giving like a
right.
Yeah.
Right. Like the people, they don't know what the final cut of that movie is necessarily going to look like, what the tone is, or they may, and they just decide to do something different anyway. Because, like, the people that make the trailer are marketing people. Those aren't, like people that are necessarily people that are about making sure the artistic integrity of what the work is best represented. So, but we'll see. We'll see. It looked cool. It looked cool, which is like, I'm shocked because I'm like, between Flash and Blue Beetle, like that might be two solid movies that DC has on their belt, like, in the pipe coming up, like back to back, which is like, when's the last time we have been able to say that?
I mean, we said it a lot. We just been wrong.
No. I didn't say that. I never said that, Joy. But look, you said it and you've been wrong. Look, don't lump me in with you, man. No. But yeah, and especially like coming off of like, say, Shazam, it's like I'm actually sitting here like I'm kind of excited for the next phase of or the next couple films that DC has coming out, because I feel like
hold on, slow your roll.
Uh-oh.
Because I think Aquaman comes out first.
Oh, he's excited. Yeah, he's excited for that. He loves Jason Momoa.
No, not actually. Like,
you like the movie with the lasers, with the sharks with lasers on them.
Yeah, aren't you excited about another story about a Atlantean?
They call him Kukulkan.
Kukulkan.
I haven't used these buttons in a while.
You got to turn him up a little bit, just a little bit, not a lot of it.
No, you got to get. Well, he got his sound from the bootleg movie, or the trailer. He's got to get it from the actual Disney Plus release.
Oh, I forgot that's
there
out
it is.
now.
Yeah, you can do that now. You're right.
Yeah,
But,
I actually, I almost refused to cut this little kid's hair the other day.
Why?
He was wearing a Black Panther shirt. Little Mexican kid with a Black Panther. Like, hey man, it's Talocan forever, not Wakanda forever.
Hey man, why you gotta do division? Why can't it be both?
That's what France wanted, and they succeeded. You know, if it wasn't for the wisdom of the Kukulkan, you know,
they call him Kukulkan.
The feather perfect God.
The feather God.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Look, you don't need to wear no Black Panther garb no more. We got our hero.
Man. Listen, Unity, man. You don't see the end of the movie? Unity.
No, it's Unity, but he can still wear his feathered garb and his nose ring. He don't have to wear, vibranium cat shit. Like.
Oh, wait, see how he minimizes it?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, look, hey, we got our roots. You got your roots, and together we could do our shit. But we got our roots too.
Let's get it roots.
That's what I'm saying. A little Mexican kid was wearing a Black Panther shirt. I'm like, hey man, take that shit off, man. Put on a feather coat. You got to look like CeeLo in the Grammys.
Look, Mo's like, listen, when you come to my barbershop, I need all these kids in little green Speedos.
look, when the first Black Panther came out, I saw a little dude about 4 years old walking in with his like Wakanda shirt, like a Black Panther with Shuri, everything all, and that shit, it brought tears to my eyes. I'm like, man, this little kid. I'm like, did you see the movie? He's like, yeah, I loved it. I'm like, oh fuck, yeah, brought tears to my eyes. Then I see this little Mexican dude coming after Wakanda Forever with a Black Panther shirt, and I'm like, got tears to my eyes, but I was like that Indian where they threw the trash on them, like I'm like, oh man, gotta wear a Namor shirt, man.
Namor, the child with no love.
I need a Namor drop.
I have it here somewhere.
Do you really?
Is it this one?
I love them all.
Sorry.
No, I don't.
Is it this one? No, that's not that.
No, you son of a bitch.
No more.
There it is.
Dude.
Do I have
the
goats? No, I do have the goats.
Oh, jeez. So listen. So Aquaman 2 actually doesn't come out until December, it looks like.
Oh, good.
When does Flash come out? And when does
Blue comes out June, and Blue Beetle comes out August.
Yeah. All right.
That doesn't sound right. How are we getting a trailer this early? You must not be explaining it right.
What are you talking about? Like,
did we get an Aquaman trailer?
No, why would we get? It's coming out last.
No, we did get an Aquaman trailer. It was a courtroom drama, wasn't it? I know I saw Mera there. Aquaman looked rough, though.
Yeah, that was Aquaman's dad. Yeah, that was Aquaman's dad, Captain Jack Sparrow. Because that's that Aquaman's origin. Like Jack Sparrow fucked the Atlantean. That's why he's all swarthy. That's why he don't look like Arthur Curry from the comics. Damn, Disney had it.
You're right. Flash and then Blue Beetle and then Aquaman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
I don't even care. I'm just mad that fucking Guardians comes out May 5th, man.
Yeah. It's something here like,
it actually makes sense because I don't have to go see it. Like I'm gonna do the show. Like,
can somebody take
on a Wednesday?
Lackadaisy that's
has
been going on for like an hour.
You do what now? Oh, take that off. Is that what you wanted?
It's been distracting me the whole time.
I can do it. Oh, you got it, Mo.
I thought I had it, but it's not even here.
Terracline chat asks, did you guys hear that they are making a live action Minecraft movie with Jason Momoa?
I did hear they're making a Minecraft movie.
Did he hear that news 4 days ago?
Sorry, say what?
Did you hear the news 4 days ago when it was April 1st?
Yeah.
April Fools?
Yeah.
That's funny. Look, I did hear they were making a Minecraft movie. It didn't even occur to me it might be an April Fool's joke. Maybe it was. I don't know.
No, I'm seeing.
I didn't hear anything about Jason
Momoa.
Momoa.
It's a story from like today.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about Jason Momoa though.
Yeah, well, you know,
it's good. Like that's another movie I'm not gonna see.
I don't play Minecraft, so
yeah, I don't give a shit about no Minecraft.
And from what I hear, like people that actually get on Minecraft aren't really playing anyway. They're just like building stuff.
That's the game.
Or preying on kids.
That's the game.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
That's what happens. Like people that play Minecraft, like that. There's been reports of that. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's saying it. I'm trying to find this one April Fool's thing that I saw that was oh yeah, Chris Pratt. He posted on April 1st that he was gonna be the voice of Mickey.
Oh, that's not a great show.
Yeah, it's not. It's that. It's typical Chris Pratt. Just dumb shit.
Yeah, he's not good at jokes that other people don't write.
He's not good at anything. Like I don't know how he's successful in entertainment.
Come on now, wait, really? You're really gonna say Chris Pratt has no talent? Is that what
he has no talent? He has no talent.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt has no talent.
You guys didn't like him on Parks and Rec?
That whole show sucked.
I've never seen it.
Really?
I hated that show. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I tried watching. They're like, "Oh, you need to watch it," because one of my clients says that I'm like the Ron Swanson guy. Like he's like, "You're every time you have a saying for something." It's like I don't think I would do this because of this, and it's like you're so Ron Swanson. You got to watch it. And I tried watching it. It was the worst shit ever. Yeah.
Oh,
and then he's like, "Oh no, you got to watch the 3rd season." I'm like, "The fuck, like." How the fuck am I gonna watch a show at the 3rd season? Like, yeah,
I have seen some Ron Swanson clips, and I could see the.
Yeah, I mean, like I've seen the clips, but it don't make the show good.
Oh no, I've never seen the show itself.
Yeah,
I've just seen some
show
of the clips.
Garbage. Like you talk about the Office clones. This is like the worst. Like it's I think
that's exactly when it came out too. It was after The Office got big.
Yeah, it's not good at all. I tried watching it. It is.
Oh, you're breaking Lawrence's heart. Look at him.
I mean, Larry? Did you watch it? I mean, tell me different.
No, I mean, I've seen a couple episodes, like the first couple, and it was fine. It wasn't like it's not the best show in the world, but it's just. I mean, for me, I was like I don't think that the first season of Parks and Rec is much less funny than the first season of The Office.
I mean,
and I know that I know that you say I know. Well, I was gonna say I know you say you kind of like, hey, you tell the guy, don't. How am I supposed to watch a show in the 3rd season? And I get that. I agree with you. Like you should be able to watch a show from the beginning. But what I can say to you is what I know, even though I haven't watched The Office, I know that The Office starts off one way. And by the time you get into like season 2 or 3, the end of season 2, season 3, it hits a different stride.
No, it doesn't hit a different stride until like season 5.
Okay, all right. Well, either way, the show changes.
Like, from season 1 to 2, there is a change, But season 1 is only 6 episodes, and then 2 is like the full 24 episode order, and those are gold. And then the first 6 are like tarnished gold, maybe silver. Yeah. But then when you talk about minerals like that, you talk about that first season I tried to watch about Parks and Rec. So you got like gold, tarnished gold, maybe silver, maybe white gold, rose gold for the first season of Office, and then you just have shit with Parks and Recreation.
I didn't think it was that bad, personally.
Yeah. Look,
Hey,
Oz,
like,
we're reviewing Parks and Recreation season 1 next week.
Please don't.
But you know, like
Oz, you have to watch it. That's it. You got to be the judge between me and Larry. So you have to watch it. You're gonna review it.
Aubrey Plaza's in it though.
That's fine. I mean, I could watch her in any other things. She's just as good. Same again, dead-eyed Hollywood, like just that's it. Like she's like that in everything.
No, I'm laughing, but you're absolutely right. Like,
everybody calls it resting bitch face, and that's so hot and sexy. No, she's just dead-eyed.
She's dead-eyed. Look, this woman is dead inside.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
like somebody did something to her.
Yeah, and that's her charm. That's I apparently that's what dudes are turned on by. So it's like, yeah, I didn't see the appeal. I've seen her in other things, and she was great. You know, she still had a little bit of the dead-eyed stuff, but she was great in it. That show didn't let her be.
It works in Legion because she's
no, she was great in Legion.
Supposed to be dead inside in that.
There's a couple movies that she's on Hulu, and she was great in those. But you know, she was great in that episode of Marin.
How's that show?
Oh, that show's amazing. Marin will tell you that he sucks in it, but he's good.
Yeah, but he hates himself.
I mean, I know he's good in general, but I've never seen the show.
The show is good. You can't watch it anywhere. Like, there's no streaming.
Oh no,
no, it was on IFC. So it's supposed to be on AMC Plus, but it's not. So I think and then I try to bootleg it because I didn't watch the 4th season, and they don't have any of it on the bootleg site. So the 3rd season ended so crazily with his relapse, and I was like, no. And then yeah, he actually filmed at Legacy Comics here in Glendale. The first, the first episode that they filmed at Legacy Comics in Glendale. Yeah, he was confronting his Twitter troll in person, but he doesn't know how to fight.
Oh, okay. That's wild.
So then he just eats tacos with his assistant. And that's better than Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Larry, I have to pick the Hollywood Reporter, the fake media.
What did the Hollywood Reporter do?
Well, they reported on the arrest of oh boy, Kang.
That's Jonathan Majors.
They didn't report about his vindication at all.
Yeah, well, you know how that goes.
That's fucking bullshit. So I'm gonna report on his vindication. I don't even know the details of his vindication. People say it wasn't even him in the place. I don't know. All I know is that we lost some trailers. We lost some
Army commercial that they pulled.
We lost an Army commercial. Creed 2 still did good. Or Creed 3 rather. Still did good in the box.
Yeah, but that came out before the allegations.
Yeah, but it could have dropped off on the second week and it didn't.
Yeah.
So here's his pick after vindication.
I don't know all the details myself. What I heard is that the young lady basically recanted and kind of just was like, yeah, I was like in my feelings. And there's still people that kind of feel like he still did something and just paid her off.
That's or even Disney paid him off. Like that. What I read online is that Disney paid her off.
But I
One
feel
of
like
the,
that's conspiracy theory stuff.
I mean, it could be true. I wouldn't put it past
It
them.
could be,
You know, they're invested in them, so I don't see.
of course.
But and that's the thing. It's like, well, that's her integrity. Like he was, he needs to mess with girls with better integrity and not hit them. You
Oh,
know.
listen, but the thing is, at this point, there's nobody saying that
Yeah.
anybody hit anybody.
Well, and that's the thing. Like one of the stories I heard, because I don't know the details. They told me when I'm cutting hair. I'm like, yeah, old boy King, and then it's like, oh no, yeah, he wasn't even there. Like that's what,
I don't
and
know
I'm
that
like,
he wasn't there, but
yeah,
maybe I don't know. Like, and that's the thing.
yeah,
But here's the thing: what I know is, at some point, he was in some sort of ride share or a cab or something
yeah.
with somebody that he couldn't rely upon to be discreet, and he's too big of a star to be doing that. That's what I know. Oh, those are facts. It's like, look,
He
and
tried
it's
to
not to
say
say like
the Uber pool.
listen. I mean, I don't know if Uber pool, like he might have just taken a regular Lyft or a regular Uber, like
Yeah.
with his people or with whoever he was with. But the fact is, it's like one of those things where, dude, like if you're gonna have a private moment, you need to make sure that it stays private. You don't want to be in the back of some random person's car. Like you want to be in the back of a car that is like, like. And here's the thing: I'm not trying to say like, huh?
But I maybe like to escalate to an arrest though, and that's the one Uber that's not recording.
I mean, look, not every Uber records. Some do, some don't.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
But here, what'd you say, Oz?
they all should, especially like in big litigious cities like LA.
Well, they just killed the dude right here at the
No, I agree with you.
gas station on the Uber last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh damn!
Like they had the grand opening, then that's when they killed the dude the next day, and then took his car.
Man.
So even if he was recording, there's no footage because they took the car.
You shouldn't be in public vehicles if you're a superstar. You got to be in private vehicles
or a killer.
And,
Yeah, it sounds like maybe I don't want to be in a public vehicle.
Oz is like, he's like, I'm out here. I hired my driver to take me around.
Yeah, and that's I wouldn't drive Uber if I had a family. Like, I'm gonna make my woman a widow and my kids orphans. Fuck that.
You feel like you'll get killed in the Uber?
Oh yeah, but you heard how I talk to people, Larry.
Look, he's either gonna kill or he's either gonna get killed or have to kill. Either way, he's gonna be away from his family.
I ain't gonna kill nobody unless it's my life.
I feel the same way Mo talk people up, and I've seen this. The same way Mo talk people up and get them riled up, the same way Mo can talk people down and get them back into a calm state. I've seen that. Mo's powers work both ways.
That's only because the nonsense he spews starts to make sense after a couple of
like he enjoys riling people up, but
most people believe in nonsense.
That's true,
especially in this day and age.
Yeah,
in this day and age,
it's so easy. Like, when I start to dumb it down, they calm down. Who was it? Oh yeah, Larry with the the same dude, the Doctor Who guy at WonderCon. He was getting riled up, and then I got riled up with him, but about the black, and he calmed down.
Yep. So
yeah, that
oh man, 100%.
Maybe I won't. All right, baby, I'm gonna drive Uber after the show.
It's crazy because you were talking about Guardians coming out.
Why you gotta?
And I'm just realizing how much of like a slump I'm in right now with these Marvel movies, which makes me sad because I'm like that's never happened to me before. Where like because at this point, like, Doctor Strange came out, which I really enjoyed. And I know some people aren't fans of.
Hold on, you can't say that's never happened to me before, because there was a time before Iron Man.
No, well, okay, but
even after Iron Man, like the first couple of years, we were not getting 2 or 3 movies a year.
Yeah, but we've been spoiled.
That's the before time, Oz. That's when we weren't expecting any movies to be good. Like we've got 15 years of amazing films at this point. Like even the bad ones are good. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I was like, damn, that Thor movie, I don't know. And like I go back and watch Thor now and I'm like, dude, I wish Guardians 1 was just Thor.
Look, at this point, you've gotten so many of the good loads all over your face, neck, and chest that you're gonna get dust for a little while during the refractory period.
Hey, and that's what's happening right now, because like I liked Multiverse of Madness, but I wasn't a fan of Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and
then after that, I got friggin' Ant-Man, and then now we're coming up on Guardians, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna like Guardians 3. Like Guardians 3 is not for me. Like I think other people are gonna like Guardians 3, but I'm not gonna like Guardians 3.
I was talking to a client and he was like saying that he doesn't like the Marvel stuff right now. Like he doesn't even feel like he's gonna like Phase 5 because everything is just so weird. And it's so like different than how everything was. Like the stuff before Infinity War felt real, and I'm like, well,
that's crazy.
I'm like, man, like I had to slap him with my phone because that's where I have my thing. Where is this thing? That's where I have this thing. And let's see if I can zoom in here and keep it in focus. Where I hate him with this shit because I go, this is why I carry this with me, because read some fucking comics. Like Doctor Strange is one of the weirdest characters around. Like, so his movie, like my whole issue with the first one was like, it's technically how cool it was. It just felt like a generic superhero movie. Like I felt like that movie about Isom because I like my Doctor Strange really fucking weird, and that's that, and even like She-Hulk, he's like, I didn't like She-Hulk, and I'm like, that She-Hulk is like the one that feels most like the comic. And I go, and guess what? When the comic came out, the comic got canceled too, like early on. It wasn't until with other teams that she started getting other series again, because it was weird to them then, and it's weird to you now. But if you like the genre, like you want the genre to succeed, you just keep going with it until you get a good one. And that's how all of us love comics, and that's why we become comics gate people and shit like that, because we but it's because we love comics, and we've gone through we've gone through the down parts. And I go, with the movies, you motherfuckers aren't gonna get it, because you motherfuckers that just like the movies, you're good with Transformers doing what the shit they do. You're good with Fast and the Furious doing the stupid shit they do. You clamor for the Zack Snyder cut, but this is fucking comics. Marvel MCU is, and I've been critical of Marvel for a lot of things. Right now, they're making shit like the comics, and it's fucking weird. And you're not gonna get it, because now they're making shit for the nerds. They're culling the normies from the nerds in the movieverse now, and that's like, and so I'm like, read fucking comics. You read fucking comics. We got into the Spider-Verse thing, and I've been reading End of Spider-Verse, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, they're like, well, who's the real one? Who's the main? There has to be a main, because they watched Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, and they watched No Way Home, and I'm like, well, if you read fucking comics, you read that Earth 616 Peter Parker is the center of the web of the Spider-Verse. Like it's based on that. And Tom Holland comes out in Spider-Verse 2, in End of Spider-Verse 2, and it's like there's in it. You got a story with that movie character that you may or may not see because of contract shit. You got a little story with him there.
Right.
You gotta read some fucking comics.
They mentioned Tom Holland in the next Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah.
Well, Spider-Verse, yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why I was so pissed today, because I went to buy Spider-Man 7 and it sold out. And then the guy's like, well, I do have a comic pull list program. And it's like, yeah, but that's preview shit, man. I want to give you my credit card and just have you bill me and just give me the shit I want. I don't want to deal with I don't have time to sit there on your computer portal. And but then I'm like, oh, whatever. Look, I'm just happy people are buying comics. The motherfucker's just gonna go the way of Alpha anyway. Like, it's not, we get new Spider characters all the time. They go nowhere. I told them, like, when's the last time you heard of Itsy Bitsy? No, but he's a Spider clone, new character that was a genetic mix of Parker and Deadpool. Ain't nobody talking about Itsy Bitsy. Ain't nobody talking about Alpha. Yeah. Nobody's talking about the midget Maria.
I like
there's there's new characters that and so in issue 1 of Spider-Verse of End of Spider-Verse is the character that comes out in the movie, the black girl with the braids that comes out in, so it's like that should have been a big deal, but they're making the big deal about Spider-Boy. And it's like, and I can't even read it because they sold out. And I'm like,
what, the kid? The kid?
I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, in reading, I'm behind. I'm like on issue 3.
Oh,
so it's like, but I wanted to buy the book, and they're like, oh yeah, we sold out. And I'm like, what sucks? This is like, I've been reading this series. Like, I just want to read the series. All of a sudden, they say a press release that there's a new character. It's like, there's been new characters since issue 1. And one of the new characters in issue 1 is actually in the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. And they didn't make a big deal of that. Right. And that's a good character. Like, what's happening with that character is good. And I'm like, man, that's some bullshit. So then I just bought Unforgiven, Spider-Man Unforgiven. And I got fucked.
Oh, dude. That's not a good series.
I mean, I only read the Spider-Man one and I liked it. But
okay, good. Well, listen. I will listen. I know that
it's a horror comic with Spider-Man in it. And so
the vampires, yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't read the other ones, but they did the same shit with Murder World with that bullshit. So I'm like, oh, when's issue 2 coming out? I looked it up and it's like, oh, they're just Unforgiven. Man, this bitch shit again.
Yeah.
I got pissed.
That's it.
Now, I'm not gonna buy shit. I'm gonna read that shit on bootleg.
But I will say that, I don't think Thor: Love and Thunder, that's not for the nerds. Going back what you were saying.
No, like, if you've read old Journey into Mystery, like that's one of those like weird like Loki visions of Thor, or like somebody giving you the little fable of Thor. Like it literally starts with Korg telling you the story, and in the movie, Korg can't even get people's names right. He can't get details right.
Yeah.
So this is Journey. The movie should have been called Journey into Mystery.
And Quantumania doesn't feel like it's for the nerds either.
Look, it's gonna pay off. Like, that's the one you're gonna look back like Thor 1.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I have faith in that one after watching it. Like, I mean, I wanted a sci-fi adventure with Ant-Man.
Right.
Like, so this is what I got, and this is
did somebody look back on Thor 1 and now likes it? Is that what?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I said that before.
I mean, it's much better watching it now than it was back then.
After watching, like, I watched it the day we were pre-gaming at my house before going to see the first Avengers, and I watched it, and I'm like, okay, like, and then even watching it, I was like, I really don't like this movie. Like I don't like what they did with it. I don't like how it played out. Like, and then I watched the first Avengers. And I'm like, oh, that's why they did it. Like it's the one big crossover. They're all tie-ins, and they're just not labeled, Avengers like tie-ins. It's the reverse of the Murder World or the Unforgiven. They just didn't brand them right. Yeah, but
Well,
we didn't have that many to brand anyway. All we had was the through line in the after credit scenes to connect them, and then now I feel like they're more connected in story and theme that you don't have to really like do the weird thing. Like it's just one big universe, and you're gonna get it.
But after Guardians, which again, Guardians might be fine for most people, but after Guardians come June, August 4. Like we get Across the Spider-Verse and Secret Invasion, which I think Secret Invasion is going to be good too. So like both of those come in June, and then in the fall we get Loki and X-Men 97, which I'm like, oh, like exciting. Like we might get What If, but probably not.
Well, Marvels we might get too.
Marvels definitely comes at the end of the year.
From what I hear, they're doing reshoots.
Yeah, no, I believe that. And I'm looking forward to Marvels as well. Like I think Marvels is actually going to be a good flick. But
I'm with the Comicsgate guys people on that one.
Why?
I didn't I didn't like how Miss Marvel ended, and I didn't like the Captain Marvel movie. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. You didn't like how Miss Marvel ended?
Yeah, no. I mean, the ending should have been the fight like that she had in Pakistan. Like,
I can see that.
The actual superhero fight. There was no real superhero fight at the end, and and I get it. Like, it's a different way of telling the story, but like you don't want to do her gigantic stretchy powers, but you do it with light emissions anyway, and you still do the same powers, and it's not. And then you make her a mutant, and it's just stupid. Like, and then like, why would that have any connection to Captain Marvel?
It doesn't have any connection to Captain Marvel.
I mean,
Captain Marvel is that she's a fan.
Like, well, with the Nega bands,
we don't know that those are the Nega bands.
I mean, that's what they look like. And like, why would you even have those? Like, if you didn't do the Rick Jones thing.
Well, you're assuming it's these things. Like we don't know.
Yeah, like I assumed the 10 rings were gonna be rings and not bracelets.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like just like the comic, the connection to Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel is just I like Carol Danvers. That's all it is. Yeah. She's a fan.
But the switching bodies?
Oh, well, I mean, hey.
That's what they showed. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
They showed that in the end credits scene.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about, Larry. Like, so the connection is more than what the comics.
I hear that. No, I hear that.
Yeah. Oh, I hear that. Yeah. Now you hear it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Larry.
I don't know.
Cool.
No, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like, what the deal is. Who knows?
I hate that you don't get mad.
I don't know what to tell you. Oh, jeez. All right. What else should we talk about, or what else do we need to say before we get out of here?
Let's see. We did talk about. Well, we already talked about Casada.
It's so funny because there's a person that works over at Amazon already. Is actually they call Joe Q.
Uh-huh.
And and I know this because of Nia. And it's so funny because I always like when she says when she has said Joe Q to me, I've said like Joe Quesada, but it's not Joe Quesada. And she doesn't know who Joe Quesada is, and so it's not even funny to her, even though I say it like multiple times. Like I'm like, okay, this time she'll get it. It'll be funny. I've explained who Joe Quesada is. So it's interesting when that news story came out that I'm like, oh man, Joe Q is actually going over there. And so, so I don't know, man. Like, I'm assuming that Joe Q, if he's going to be doing stuff for Amazon Studios, he's going to have to come to LA. I'm going to have to see if I can, make sure I get an invite.
He is doing
get an intro.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna hit him up. He's my friend on Facebook, so right now he's doing. Oh, he's doing conventions like this weekend, like C2E2 that just happened, and
C2E2 just happened.
Yeah, it happened right after
WonderCon.
I'm busy.
You should quit that job, Oz. Quit that job. You don't even like that job.
But then I can't buy stuff.
Sure you can. You buy the C2E2.
Nah.
Not if he don't work.
Body.
He doesn't have enough.
I need that job. Can't you see my addiction? It's all around me.
So he's doing conventions now. So after convention, when convention season dies down, he'll probably come to LA.
Dude, convention season is year round at this point.
Yeah,
I know.
But it's ramping up right now in the summer. So I'm gonna see if I can hit him up. In the comic shop, since I couldn't get Spider-Man 7, I did buy some white covers. So,
oh yeah,
crossover.
Oh nice. Yeah, I like crossover. That's a great white cover.
Yeah, and then I got Ultraman, Rise of Ultraman.
Nice.
And then I got Scumbag. Oh wait, that's not Scumbag.
I was like, that's definitely not Scumbag. Oh, nice.
The Rick Remender book.
And you know what I should mention to you real quick too, Moses, before I forget, and I don't know if this is something that you actually got to see in the comic shop, but they came out with a Venom Lethal Protector 2.
Yeah.
I actually read it. And it's not bad. Like, it is definitely a book that takes place like in the 90s era.
Yeah.
So it's like some classic kind of Venom stuff. But it's a much better book than I would have given it credit for.
I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're probably right. But I'm not gonna like. With the dark web stuff and the Venom stuff that I read, and those two combined, I'm like, I don't like knowing what's gonna happen to that Venom from the '90s with the whole Null thing and Klimtar. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to live in the past. Like, I'll move forward and move away from that shit. Like I don't care. Like, I mean, you talked about the Joe Fixit book in the pre-production tech. And I still think that is a sequel to that Fantastic Four book, because they went to Vegas in that book, and the whole thing takes place in Vegas in like a little window in time. Window in time. And in that era of Fantastic Four. So I'm using a different lens now. It doesn't have a lot of space, but it looks good. It's really it makes it look closer than it is. It's actually like across the room. but yeah, it definitely, like, I like those like moment in time, specifically that Fantastic Four team I love. But I don't think I would do a Venom like that Fantastic Four team, like, they gone on to do different things, and I would even like a different, like, a whole new iteration of that same team. They kind of did it with the Midnight Suns thing, and that was funny in Spider-Man Unforgiven, where he's like, is this a Midnight Suns thing? Because I could call him. I got him on speed dial. Like,
that is funny.
Yeah. Did you read it or no?
No, I haven't read it. I read
it's written by Tim Seeley. So I I don't know if the other ones are, but that one is, and I like that's why I got it because I'm like, okay, it's a horror comic, and it starts off with Peter Parker's internal monologue saying, I don't like this horror shit. Like, yeah, I know spiders, but that's just generally creepy. But it's science. I don't do supernatural. Like, I don't like it.
Right.
And then it just it goes into the adventure, and the adventure like plays out the way it does. But definitely, it was really transparent, like in a few pages in that it's their story, not Spider-Man's story. And then but the characters are good, so I think I might give the rest a shot. But
I
aside
read the X-Men Unforgiven one.
Is that good or no? Is it better than the X-Men Dark Web? Oh well, no, because X-Men Murder World, I guess, would be, but they didn't have an X-Men Murder World.
The Wolverine's Murder World.
Yeah,
and actually, I liked the Murder World series, so it's like to me, like both of those are a little bit above Unforgiven. Like Unforgiven wasn't terrible, but it's a Jubilee story because Jubilee knows the vampires because she used to like run with them.
Yeah,
and so it's a little bit different. I'm sure the Spider-Man one was probably better.
Okay, I mean, check it out. I don't know. I didn't realize I don't know when the other one came out, but probably behind on it. So
they all came out like back to like week to week behind each other, like so so I'm not exactly sure when, but because I didn't know, it was the same kind of thing for me where I was just like, oh, number one, X-Men Unforgiven, what's this, and I was like, oh, okay, and then I realized like, oh, it is like Murder World where it's like there's a book each week or whatever that comes out.
It's retarded. It's stupid. Like, just sell me the trade paperback.
They will.
No, instead of this.
Yeah. So but I will say that the Lethal Protector 2, I was a little kind of taken aback by, just because I was like craving like that old school kind of Venom, because I'm like, man, like they're doing all types of weird stuff with Venom in this day and age that I don't particularly appreciate. And I was just like, oh, it'd be cool to just get a classic, or what I think of as a classic Venom story. And then I came across this book and I was like, I think this is actually a classic Venom story. And it was like, it's literally in those Lethal Protector days when he was like learning how to be like an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, let me, like, I can't just hurt people indiscriminately, but the people that are my enemies, I can go hunt still. And I'm just like, oh, that's great. Look, it has Silver Sable in it. That's how like throwback-ish, like 90s era it is. Like, I was like, dude, when's the last time I seen the Wild Pack in a book? So I was just like, oh, that's wild. Yeah, so it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was different. And the art was good too, because I was like, or I should say, the art was fine, but it wasn't that. What I'm trying to say is the art design for Venom was good. Like, it looked like somebody was like, okay, no, I need to make sure I draw him like 90s era Venom, as opposed to because modern interpretations of Venom can be a little bit different. So, but anyway, all right, we should get out of here, huh?
Who draws it?
Hey, ask me the tough questions. Hold on, let me look it up real quick, because I don't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't a person that who I recognized.
Fiorelli?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I might check it out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the cover for issue 2. It looks
Yeah, no, dude. I was like, I was happy. It was definitely. Oh, you gotta tap your phone. Oh, excuse me. But no, it was definitely like a throwback of a story. And
sometimes
sometimes pardon me. Sometimes I'm not as
Lini too, so
oh man.
Hey, what the fuck?
I think you're gonna die.
Yeah. That was me last week. Good luck.
Yeah, I got a little tickle in my throat too, and I blame you, Mo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Look, I gave it to. I could. You just gotta open wide.
Oh no!
I'll
All
scratch
right.
your throat.
Let's play that Final Thoughts music.
Like Mario's brother's coming out. I'll be the plumber.
Oh, it's too funny.
The show. That's what happens when the show goes too long.
All right. How's score? Give me some final thoughts, man.
Picard's still good. Like, this may be like the best season. Definitely for Picard. It might even be better than like Strange New World season 1.
Yeah. It's look. They're definitely going out with a bang on Picard, man. Ooh. I love it.
And season 2 of Stranger World's about to start too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like probably like a month after Picard ends, and there's like 3 episodes left of Picard. So yeah, about a month and a half or so.
Cool. We gotta start planning my birthday show because it is a Wednesday, I believe.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, let me check my
calendar.
calendar.
Aren't you going to be out of town?
I'm leaving on the. Oh no, my birthday's on Friday. Never mind.
You can still plan your birthday show though.
Nah, it's all right. I'm gonna be out of town like from the 10th to the 17th or something like that.
Oh, so you're gonna be here for your birthday?
Yes.
That's something tentative, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna get hit by a bus or anything. So
I'm gonna be in Aruba.
Hey, I'm gonna lock myself I'm gonna lock myself in the storage unit and do ass.
Final thoughts, Mo? What's that?
You saw me slap people with buy some fucking comics. Get a shirt that says that on fantasticforum.live. So Larry could go to the comic shop and secure my copy of Spider-Man 7. And then we still have WonderCon stuff coming out. I've been editing that stuff. I'm still waiting for Larry to give me my voice recorder. And then,
oh, God damn it. Jeez.
Yeah. So, but you got more stuff coming down the pike. So you're only going to find out about it if you hit subscribe, like, and hit that bell.
For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, okay? We're the Fantastic Forum. Good night.